Welcome to this edition of Ethical Sustainable Investment News and Analysis to Profit By. I'm Ron Robbins, an ethical investing pioneer for over 40 years, quoted in the Wall Street Journal, MarketWatch, the Globe and Mail, and numerous other media, and founder of the highly respected global ethical sustainable investing information website, Investing for the Soul. And please listen to my disclaimer statement at the end of this podcast. Now enjoy this podcast. Hello, Ron Robbins here. Welcome to my podcast episode 167, published on May 29th, 2026, titled May 2026 Sustainable Stock and ETF Picks. Now, before I begin, I want to apologize if my voice at any time sounds a little rough. This podcast is presented by Investing for the Soul. Investingforthesoul.com is your go-to site for vital global, ethical and sustainable investing mentoring, news, commentary, information and resources. Remember that you can find a full transcript and links to content, including stock symbols and bonus material, on this episode's podcast page at investingforthesoul.com/podcasts. Also, a reminder, I do not evaluate any of the stocks or funds mentioned in these podcasts, and I don't receive any compensation from anyone covered in these podcasts. Furthermore, I will reveal any investments I have in the investments mentioned herein. I have a great crop of 32 articles for you in this podcast. Note, sometimes companies are covered more than once. Now, with so many articles to potentially cover, I've chosen 3 to quote from. Articles and links to the other 29 can be found on the web page for this podcast edition. And that's edition 167. Now, many of you are interested in hydrogen stocks, so I thought this article would be good to start this podcast with. It's titled 9 Best Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Stocks to Buy Now from InsiderMonkey.com, and is by Fatima Gauza. Here's some quotes. We use screeners to identify best hydrogen and fuel cell stocks and limited our final selection to companies that have recently reported noteworthy developments likely to impact investor sentiment. These stocks are also popular among analysts and elite hedge funds. Why are we interested in the stocks that hedge funds pile into? The reason is simple. Our research has shown that we can outperform the market by imitating the top stock picks of the best hedge funds. So starting with number 9, Fuel Cell Energy Inc. On March 23rd, 2026, Fuel Cell Energy announced the introduction of a standardized 12.5 megawatt packaged power block that offers on-site electricity to data centers. It positioned the system as a speedier deployment option in power-constrained markets. Fuel Cell Energy is a firm that develops, designs, manufactures, constructs, and services high-temperature fuel cells for clean electricity generation. It operates in 3 geographical segments: the United States, South Korea, and Europe. Number 8 is Ballard Power Systems, Inc. Ballard Power Systems designs, develops, manufactures, sells, and services fuel cell products. It specializes in power products for bus, truck, rail, marine, stationary and developing market applications, as well as service delivery, which includes technical solutions, after-sales services, and training. 7. Plug Power Inc. On April 9, 2026, Susquehanna analyst Charles Minervino updated Plug Power's price target to $2.75 from $2.50. It maintained a neutral rating on the stock. Plug Power is an alternative energy technology firm. It designs, develops, commercializes, and manufactures hydrogen and fuel cell systems for the material handling and stationary power fields. 6. New Jersey Resources Corporation. On April 21, 2026, Mizuho analyst Gabriel Morin increased New Jersey Resources Corporation's price objective to $61 from $54. It maintained an outperform rating on the shares. New Jersey Resources Corporation is a holding company. It provides regulated natural gas distribution, transmission, and storage services, as well as certain unregulated enterprises. It works in 5 segments: natural gas distribution, clean energy ventures, energy services, storage and transportation, and home services and other. 5. Bloom Energy Corporation. On April 14, 2026, Reuters reported that Bloom Energy will supply Oracle with up to 2.8 gigawatts of fuel cell capacity under an upgraded deal, which shows rising power demand due to artificial intelligence. The corporations have already signed for an initial 1.2 gigawatts. Bloom Energy manufactures and installs power production platforms based on solid oxide fuel cells. Bloom Energy Server turns conventional low-pressure natural gas or biogas into electricity using an electrochemical method that does not include combustion. 4. BP plc. BP is an integrated oil and gas corporation that provides carbon products and services. It operates in 3 segments: gas and low-carbon energy, oil production and operations, and customers' products. 3. Cummins Inc. On April 20, 2026, Truist analyst Jamie Cook raised the Cummins price objective to $730 from $703. It retained a buy rating on the stock. On April 13, 2026, Wells Fargo lifted its price objective for Cummins to $693 from $630. Cummins is a US-based firm that designs, manufactures, and services diesel and natural gas engines, electric and hybrid powertrains, and related components. Its segments include engine, distribution, components, power systems, and accelera. 2. Air Products and Chemicals Inc. On April 24, 2026, RBC Capital raised Air Products and Chemicals price target to $338 from $325. It maintained an outperform rating. On April 24, 2026, Air Products and Chemicals declared that it will build, own, and operate a brand new air separation facility in Cocoa, Florida. The facility will produce liquid oxygen nitrogen and argon. Francesca Malone, President of the Americas, said that the location will help space launch operators in Florida and also position the corporation to meet increased demand from the booming space launch industry. Air Products and Chemicals manufactures and distributes atmospheric gases. It operates in the Americas, Asia, Europe, Middle East, India, and corporate and other. And one Lind plc. On April 24, 2026, The Fly reported that RBC Capital analyst Arun Vishwanathan raised Lind's price objective to $552 from $512. It retained an outperform rating. Lind is a global industrial gas and engineering firm. It designs and manufactures industrial gas production equipment. The company also provides gas production and processing services for olefin plants, natural gas plants, air separation plants, hydrogen and synthesis gas plants, and other plants. End quotes. This next article offers a unique company ranking that will interest many of you. Time reveals the 2026 Time 100 most influential companies in the world from Time.com. It's by Time PR. Now some quotes. However, note that many of the highly ranked companies are private. Quote, the 2026 Time 100 Most Influential Companies issue features 3 worldwide covers, each spotlighting top executives from a company on the list with an in-depth profile, including Sundar Pichai, CEO of Alphabet and Google, Jimmy Donaldson, so-called Mr. Beast, founder of Beast Industries, and Hailey Bieber, co-founder of Rode. To assemble the list, Time solicited nominations across sectors and polled its global network of editors and correspondents, as well as outside experts. The result is a diverse group of 100 businesses, helping chart an essential path forward. In addition to the 100 companies featured on the list, Time unveils the Time 100 Companies Impact Awards, recognizing 5 standout companies making meaningful contributions in the fields of AI, health, sustainability, equality, and culture. The Time 2026 100 Companies Impact Award recipients are Waystar for Impact in AI, Zenko Medical for Impact in Health, Sun King for Impact in Sustainability, Care Message for Impact in Equality, and Depop for Impact in Culture. End quotes. Now an article featuring a sector that interests all ethical and sustainable investors. The article's title is 3 Alternative Energy Stocks Poised to Benefit from Wind and EV Growth from Zacks.com and is by Tanvi Sarawagi. Here's some of what the writer has to say about their picks. 1. Bloom Energy. Based in San Jose, California, the company generates and distributes renewable energy. The Zacks consensus estimate for Bloom Energy's 2026 sales implies an improvement of 80.3% year-over-year. The Zacks consensus estimate for 2026 earnings suggests an improvement of 151.3% year-over-year. The company currently sports a Zacks rank number 1. That's a strong buy. 2. Mantalk Renewables. Based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, The company is a fully integrated renewable energy company. Montac specializes in the management, recovery, and conversion of biogas into renewable energy. The exact consensus estimate for Montac Renewables 2026 sales implies an improvement of 21.5% year-over-year. The consensus estimate for 2026 earnings suggests an improvement of 700% year-over-year. The company currently carries a Zacks rank number 2 by 3. Fuel Cell Energy. Based in Danbury, Connecticut, the company makes ultra-clean, highly efficient power plants that can run on fuels like renewable biogas and natural gas, producing electricity with far less pollution and fewer greenhouse gas emissions than conventional fossil fuel plants. The exact consensus estimate for the company's fiscal 2026 sales implies an improvement of 0.9% year-over-year. The estimate for fiscal 2026 earnings implies 50.6% growth year-over-year. The company currently carries a Zacks rank number 2. End quotes. Now don't forget that I have titles and links to 29 more great articles showcasing sustainable and ESG-oriented companies and ETF picks on the webpage for this podcast edition. So go there. These are my top news stories with the stock and fund tips for this podcast. May 2026 Sustainable Stock and ETF Picks. Please click the like and subscribe buttons wherever you download or listen to this podcast. That helps bring these podcasts to others like you. And please click the share buttons to share this podcast with your friends and family. Let's promote ethical and sustainable investing as a force for hope and prosperity in these tumultuous times. Contact me if you have any questions. Thank you for listening. Again, I want to apologize for my voice sounding at times a little rough. My next podcast will be on June 26th. See you then. Bye for now. Learn how to create a simple portfolio reflecting your personal values by taking my 1-hour tutorial. Go to investingforthesoul.com/podcasts and click the link in the right-hand column for my DIY Ethical Sustainable Investing Pays tutorial. Now, I'll mention in the podcast if I have any direct interest or holdings in companies or securities I'm talking about. Furthermore, any news, opinions, analysis, or other information offered by myself, as well as references and information to or from other external sources in this podcast, is provided as general market information and should not be relied upon and thus does not constitute investment advice. Investors should consult their own licensed investment professional before making investments. Also, I will not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use of or reliance on information in this podcast. Do contact me at ronr@investingforthesoul.com. Signing off, this is Ron Robbins.